Level 1, the associate. You are 19. Nobody offers you a place in the Yamaguchi-gumi. First, they offer you a chair outside a door. The office sits above a small construction company in Kobe. The sign downstairs is ordinary. The men upstairs are not. They wear dark suits, smoke beside an open window, and speak in voices that become quieter whenever you enter. Your uncle knows one of them. That is enough to get you introduced and not enough to make you trusted. For 3 months, you clean ashtrays, carry sealed envelopes, park cars, and wait. Waiting is the real assignment. They want to know whether you become curious, impatient, or important in your own imagination. You do none of those things where anyone can see. The police would classify someone around you as a quasi-member or associate, a person connected to a Boryokudan without yet standing inside its formal family bond. Inside the office, nobody gives you a precise title. Titles create obligations. You have not earned any. You receive cash when work appears. Some weeks it is enough to take your mother to dinner. Some weeks there is nothing. You keep your warehouse job because the organization is not paying you to live. It is paying to see whether you can be used. The other associates compete to appear fearless. You learn a more useful skill. You become forgettable to strangers and dependable to the men upstairs. One rainy evening, a senior member gives you a black umbrella and an address. You deliver a condolence envelope to a family you have never met. The widow bows. You bow lower. Neither of you discusses why the organization is paying for the funeral. When you return, the senior member asks what you saw. You describe the room, the number of visitors, and the police car across the street. You do not describe the contents of the envelope. He nods once. The next morning, your chair has been moved from the hallway into the office. It is less than 2 meters. It takes you 3 months to cross it. Level 2, the Kobun, sworn member. You are 22. The ceremony is smaller than you imagined. No cheering, no applause, no dramatic announcement. A white cloth is laid out. Sake is poured into cups. The exchange formalizes an Oyabun-Kobun relationship, parent and child, authority and obligation, protection and obedience. The language sounds like family because family is the only comparison strong enough for what is being demanded. You drink after your Oyabun. The cup is shallow. The commitment is not. From that morning, you are no longer only near the group, you belong to it. Your name is entered into an internal structure the public will never see, and the police spend years trying to map. You are assigned to 3 senior men. You drive. You answer the office phone. You stand behind them during meetings and learn that silence has different meanings. One silence means agreement. Another means the discussion is finished. A third means someone has made a mistake and has not yet realized the cost. The men correct how you bow, where you stand, and which cup you touch. Etiquette is not decoration here. It is a visible map of loyalty. You learn to recognize all 3 silences. Your income is still irregular. Full membership does not come with a salary, health insurance, or a retirement plan. Money moves through the group, but responsibility moves downward. You are expected to contribute, appear when called, and absorb inconvenience without keeping a visible record of it. At home, your mother notices the new suit. She asks whether the construction company promoted you. You say something like that. She touches the sleeve and says it fits badly at the shoulder. You promise to have it altered. You never do. For years, that small pull in the fabric will remind you of the first lie she chose not to challenge. Months later, police stop the car while you are driving 2 senior members. Nothing illegal is found. Everyone is released. Back at the office, nobody thanks you for staying calm. Calm is now the minimum. The cup gave you a family. It also gave the family your future mistakes. Level 3, the Wakashu, junior man. You are 26. 4 years inside, you are trusted with younger associates because you remember how little they understand. Wakashu literally suggests the young men of the group. The exact titles vary between organizations, and the Yamaguchi-gumi is not one office with one simple chart. It is a syndicate of affiliated groups layered beneath other groups, each with its own boss, officers, and members. A man can look powerful in one room and become junior again when he enters the next. In your room, you now have authority. You supervise 5 men. 2 will disappear within a year. 1 leaves after his father becomes ill. 1 is expelled after keeping money that was not his. The 3rd is arrested and discovers that everyone who called him brother has suddenly become difficult to reach. You remain. Your work is mostly ordinary enough to sound disappointing. Driving, attending funerals, carrying messages, watching doors, and settling arguments before they attract attention. The mythology promises violence. The daily reality is administration conducted under the possibility of violence. You begin keeping a calendar without names, weddings, court dates, releases, memorials. The organization measures time through obligations, and missing one can be remembered longer than attending 50. That possibility does most of the work. One night, a restaurant owner refuses to meet a senior member. You are told to return the next afternoon and ask again. You do. You stand in the entrance, polite, visible, saying almost nothing. The owner agrees to a meeting. You report only that the appointment is confirmed. Your oyabun begins sending you to situations where the result matters more than the method. That sounds like freedom until you understand that failure will belong entirely to you. At 26, you receive your first tattoo. Not a full back piece, not the cinematic uniform strangers expect. A small design sits where a shirt covers it. It hurts less than you anticipated. The secrecy matters more than the pain. You do not show it at the public bath. You stop going. You stop visiting the beach with old friends. Belonging gives you people to stand beside. It quietly removes the places where you can stand as everyone else. Level 4, the Kyodai, senior brother. You are 32. The younger men call you Big Brother now. Kyodai is not simply a promotion printed on paper. It describes a relationship inside the family. You have seniority, access, and responsibility for the conduct of men below you. When one of them behaves well, the organization notices him. When one behaves badly, the organization first notices you. You carry 2 phones. One is for your wife, your landlord, and the life that still sends bills through the mail. The other rings at hours when ordinary people are asleep. The second phone always wins. You have married a woman who understands enough not to ask for details and understands too much to believe your explanations. At your wedding, men from the office occupy 2 tables near the back. They bring generous envelopes. Your father-in-law spends the evening pretending not to recognize them. You tell yourself this is protection. Some nights, it feels like surveillance performed by people who love you. Your status rises because you can solve internal problems without making them public. A young member insults a senior man after drinking. You arrange the apology, negotiate the consequence, and prevent the mistake from becoming a feud. Nobody calls this leadership. They simply begin calling you more often. The younger man offers to cut off part of a finger in apology. You refuse. The old ritual survives in stories, but a missing joint now attracts attention before it proves loyalty. Then the legal environment changes. The Anti-Boryo-Kudan Act gives authorities new tools against designated groups. Police attention becomes more systematic. Offices are photographed. Names are recorded. Businesses that once tolerated the arrangement begin calculating the cost of being seen near it. You are not arrested. Your life still becomes smaller. A landlord declines your application. A bank employee becomes formal when your name triggers an internal check. A school parent who used to greet your wife begins looking through her at the gate. Your younger men watch how you react. You do not complain. Complaining would tell them the pressure works. Instead, you turn the second phone face down on the dinner table. It rings anyway. Level 5, the Kambu, executive. You are 38. You now sit during meetings where you once stood against the wall. Kambu means executive leadership, but the title covers different responsibilities in different groups. In your affiliate, it means the boss trusts you with money, discipline, and the conduct of several crews. It also means your name appears closer to the top of police charts. You manage the office calendar. You coordinate ceremonial visits. You decide which disputes deserve the boss's attention and which should be settled before he ever hears about them. Most power at this level is the power to control what moves upward. You also control what moves downward. A casual remark from the boss can become an order after passing through the wrong executive. You learn to separate preference from instruction. So is most danger. One of your senior brothers is arrested. Investigators ask about meetings you both attended. Lawyers pass messages that are careful enough to mean several things. Younger members want reassurance. The boss wants stability. The arrested man wants proof that his family will be supported. You make sure money reaches his household through lawful channels that can withstand scrutiny. You redistribute his duties. You tell the younger men the organization has not forgotten him. You do not tell them how quickly his chair was filled. The office begins investing more energy in legitimate businesses and less in public displays. Construction, entertainment, property, consulting. The paperwork becomes cleaner as the relationships behind it become harder to describe. You wear glasses now. You spend more time reading contracts than watching doors. This disappoints a new associate who expected the life to resemble a film. You ask him what he thinks organized crime looks like after it has survived for generations. He has no answer, neither did you at 19. At the end of the year, your boss gives you a better cup at the ceremony and a seat 2 places closer to him. No one explains the significance. Everyone in the room understands it. Your wife sees the photograph later. She asks why nobody is smiling, because everyone knows exactly where everyone else is sitting. Level 6. The kumicho of your own group. You are 44. For the first time, men drink after you. Your oyabun authorizes you to establish a small affiliated group beneath his. The office is modest. 6 desks, a meeting room, a family crest on the wall, and a steel cabinet containing documents more valuable than anything visible. You are now a kumicho, a group head, but not the head of the Yamaguchi-gumi. This structure repeats itself downward. Your group belongs to a larger group, which may belong to another affiliate, which ultimately sits beneath the main syndicate. You are a father in one relationship and still a child in another. That is the architecture. You take responsibility for 17 men. Their rent problems, arrests, rivalries, marriages, debts, and ambitions arrive at your desk. They call you oyabun. The word sounds powerful until you realize how many failures can now become yours. Each month, your group must support the structure above it. Each ceremony requires travel, gifts, preparation, and visible loyalty. Prestige is expensive. The men below you assume promotion means money flows toward you. Much of it moves through you and continues upward. You sell your apartment and move into a smaller one registered without drama. Your men see the new office. They do not see what it cost to keep it open. One junior member arrives late to an important funeral. Years earlier, you would have been angry at the insult. Now you notice the panic beneath his apology. His wife has taken their child and left. You give him 3 days away and instruct his senior brother to go with him. The decision is remembered, not because it is kind, because it is unusual. Your group grows slowly. You reject men who appear eager for violence. Eagerness creates evidence. You prefer the ones who arrive early, listen carefully, and understand that patience is a form of obedience. In one of them, you recognize the young man who once sat outside a door with a black umbrella. You promote him. For the first time, you understand why the senior member never praised you. Praise makes a young man feel chosen. Responsibility teaches him what he was chosen for. Level 7. The Jiki-san, direct line boss. You are 50. The invitation arrives through your oyabun. Your group is being elevated. You will become a direct affiliate boss. One of the men with a formal line to the main Yamaguchi-gumi leadership. The Japanese term often used is Jiki-san, a direct child rather than a descendant separated by several layers. The difference is one relationship. It changes every room you enter. At headquarters gatherings, you are no longer present as somebody else's subordinate. Your name appears among bosses who control their own organizations across different prefectures. Some lead hundreds. Some carry famous family histories. Some look at you and see a man who arrived too recently. You bow the same depth to all of them until you know who expects more. Direct status brings access, but it also removes insulation. Police now recognize your face. Journalists wait outside ceremonies. Hotels discover reasons that a reservation cannot be honored. Golf clubs, insurers, landlords, and banks place organized crime exclusion clauses inside forms that ordinary customers sign without reading. Your business card carries less information than it once did. The higher you rise, the fewer words can safely explain what you do. You read every clause. Japan has not needed to make membership itself the only offense. Social and financial exclusion can narrow a life more efficiently than a cell. A man who once moved through the city openly now depends on other people for services most adults consider automatic. Those other people become legal risks. Some leave. Your daughter asks you not to attend your grandson's school ceremony. She does not say she is ashamed. She says photographers might be there. You tell her you understand. You sit in the car across from the school for 40 minutes anyway. Children emerge carrying drawings. Parents take pictures under the gate. Your grandson never knows you were there. That evening, headquarters calls to confirm a meeting in Kobe. You answer on the first ring. At this level, the organization can still reach you anywhere. Your family has learned not to try. Level 8. The Wakagashira Hosa, Deputy Underboss. You are 55. Your promotion is announced in a room full of men who may have wanted it. Wakagashira Hosa are assistants to the Wakagashira, the syndicate's number 2. The role places you near the operational center, helping coordinate direct affiliates whose combined memberships, territories, and disputes are too large for one man to manage alone. You are given a region and a list of bosses. None of them work for you in the way employees work for a company. Each has his own lineage, income, loyalties, and men. Authority here is negotiated through status, history, and the certainty that your words carry the weight of headquarters behind them. You travel constantly. Every arrival follows rank. Cars stop in order. Men enter in order. Seats are assigned before anyone walks into the room. A mistake that lasts 3 seconds can occupy 3 meetings. At a meeting in Nagoya, 2 affiliates dispute an insult that began with seating at a funeral. The facts are almost irrelevant. What matters is whether either side can accept a solution without appearing weaker afterward. You spend 6 hours arranging an apology whose exact wording will never leave the room. The dispute ends. This is considered success. Outside, the organization is shrinking. Membership across Japan has been falling for years. Older men remain while recruitment becomes harder. Younger criminals prefer temporary networks, online anonymity, and profit without ceremony. They do not want a cup, a father, or a name recorded on a police list. You consider them disloyal. You also understand them. Exclusion ordinances have made ordinary life difficult, not only for members, but sometimes for people accused of assisting them. Accounts close, contracts fail, offices lose landlords. A structure built on visibility discovers that visibility has become a liability. The younger bosses ask how the syndicate can survive. You tell them to reduce conflict, tighten discipline, and stop behaving as though reputation alone pays expenses. It is practical advice. It is also an admission that the world which promoted you no longer exists in the same form. At 19, being recognized by the organization felt like rescue. At 55, being recognized by everyone else feels like a sentence. Level 9. The Wakagashira, Underboss. You are 61. There is only one man above you. As Wakagashira, you are the principal underboss, responsible for turning the kumicho's authority into decisions the direct affiliates will follow. You control no simple pyramid. You balance powerful bosses who each control pyramids of their own. Every conversation now has 2 audiences: the man speaking to you and the men he will describe it to later. You no longer carry 2 phones. Assistants carry several for you. This does not create distance from the calls. It creates witnesses to every answer. You choose words accordingly. The syndicate has survived wars, arrests, new laws, financial restrictions, and internal division. Survival does not make it unified. A large split has shown how quickly decades of brotherhood can become competing claims to legitimacy. Men who once shared cups now occupy offices protected from one another. You spend more time preventing violence than ordering anything. Not because the organization has become gentle, because public conflict gives the state powers that private resentment does not. 5 or more men gathering at the wrong office can become a legal problem under conflict-related restrictions. A visit meant to display strength can provide the photograph used to justify another crackdown. At your level, symbolism has consequences measured across entire prefectures. Your old Oyabun dies at 79. At the funeral, you stand near the front. Behind you are men you once drove, men who once drove you, and young associates who know your title, but not your history. His family returns a box of personal items. Inside is a photograph from your first Sakazuki ceremony, and the shallow cup you used at 22. You had assumed it was lost. You hold it in your office after everyone leaves. It weighs almost nothing. Your phone rings. A regional boss wants approval for a personnel change. Another wants to know whether attending a ceremony will be interpreted as choosing a side. A lawyer needs a decision before morning. You place the cup in the steel cabinet and answer the calls. There is only one man above you. There are thousands of consequences below. Level 10, the kumicho, Supreme Boss. You are 68. The succession is not a coronation. It is an agreement among powerful men that none of the alternatives is safer. You become the kumicho of the syndicate, the oyabun at the top of a family structure, extending through direct bosses, affiliate groups, and younger men you will never meet. The title carries history larger than any person holding it. It also makes your face the symbol attached to every action taken beneath it, including actions you never authorized and names you do not know. The ceremony uses sake again. This time, everyone drinks after you. You should feel the distance from the young man waiting outside the office. Instead, you remember the rain. Your first challenge is not expansion. It is contraction without collapse. National Boryokudan membership has fallen to record lows. Traditional groups are aging. Police and civil restrictions isolate members from banking, property, insurance, travel, and business relationships. The old model survives, but each year survival requires more effort for less room. You order fewer ceremonies and stricter discipline. You encourage exits for men who can no longer support their families. Some senior bosses call this weakness. They remember an era when fear opened doors. You govern an era in which association closes them. Your headquarters is quieter than it appeared in photographs. The hallways are clean. The phones ring less often. Several chairs remain empty because replacing the men who occupied them would create more problems than it solves. One afternoon, a 19-year-old associate waits outside your door. He wears a suit that pulls at one shoulder. A senior member says the boy is patient and useful. You ask why he wants to join. He says he wants people to respect him. You look at the shallow sake cup on your desk. You think about your mother touching your sleeve, your wife listening to the second phone, your daughter asking you to stay away from a school gate, and your grandson growing up with photographs that carefully exclude you. You tell the senior member to send the boy home. The boy returns the next morning. He is waiting when you arrive. On the third morning, it rains. Someone gives him a black umbrella. You watch from behind the office door and understand the final mechanism of the organization you now lead. It does not survive because young men fail to see the cost. It survives because they see the cost paid by older men and mistake it for proof of importance. For 49 years, every promotion moved you closer to the center of the family. Every promotion moved your actual family farther away. At the bottom, you believed power meant being allowed through the door. At the top, you discover power is being the man who decides whether the next person enters. You leave the boy outside for one more hour, not as a test, as the last hour of his life, in which the choice still belongs entirely to him.